Hi, this is Kevin. My family and I own a craft barbecue joint in Canton, Georgia. We do barbecue our way while paying homage to our past generations. We look forward to sharing our recipes, stories, tips, and tricks from our journey. Together, we are 441 South. And this is Barbecue the Hard Way.
That right there is 10 years old, coming back from fishing with my dad and stopping at Holcomb's Barbecue or Hot Thomas's Barbecue or Zeb Dean's Barbecue. And if you're not from Georgia, you may not know about those places. Those are the places that I grew up eating. Those are the places that I admire and all. But that right there is me sitting in the passenger seat of a 85 Chevrolet truck with a bass boat behind it, listening to country music, usually Keith Whitley or something like that, whatever Y106 was playing or WNGC was playing, depending on where you were. Stopping and getting 2 sandwiches and a bag of chips. Brings back memories. It's not just about the food. It's memories, it's family, it's all of the above, and super proud of where I've came from and what my family is doing right now and what they have done in the past 7 years almost. So all right, so today is National Georgia Barbecue Day. Just signed in the State House and the State Senate this year, so March 25th. And I think it's going to be a special day. No better way to honor Georgia barbecue than it's a pork state. We're cooking pork. We're doing it the way we do it, the way we like to do it. And let's get started. Got the smoker fired up. It's coming up to temp. It's rolling about 225 right now. And then, like I said, we always start low and just kind of let it roll on up. So I like the fat cap. I'm just going to trim off these little hard edges on it. When we get done cooking, we'll do away with it if we need to. A lot of it will render out. It's a pretty thick fat cap. These butts we use in the restaurant have about a 1/4 inch. They're beautiful though. This little flap right here. Knife sharp, but this board's slick. This pan's slick. So guys, what did y'all grow up eating on? What kind of barbecue did you grow up on? So where I grew up in traditional Georgia barbecue has always been hams in the past, and money muscle. It's got a bit of hard fat right there. It was, uncured hams cooked over open pits, vinegar sauce. And when you went to a barbecue joint, you didn't get French fries, you didn't get mac and cheese. You got a pork plate, so it was all chopped, which I think is amazing. I think chopped barbecue is the way to go. Even though we serve it pulled, we'll serve it pulled or chopped in the restaurant, just because I think. Just because outside of Georgia, everybody's taste and everybody's style is different, and sometimes you feel like Georgia's like a melting pot of different barbecue, different styles of barbecue and stuff, and it kind of is. Like at the restaurant, we serve brisket and make our own sausage and stuff, and all. But traditional Georgia barbecue is pork, hams or whole hog. Cooked over open pits, no offset pits back in the day, and chopped, vinegar sauce. You got slaw and you got stew and bag of loaf bread on the table. Doesn't get much better than that, and all. And in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite Georgia barbecue place is. Like, I have a list of favorites, and they're for different reasons. So when I'm seasoning up a butt, I don't necessarily do the bottom of it. I'll do the sides, and I do the same method I do on briskets and everything else. I do my 2-part seasoning. So black pepper goes down first. Get the sides. And I'm gonna go back, recipes below for our rub mixture. Then I go back with my salt and garlic mixture. And I will say this, traditional barbecue, Georgia barbecue, they very rarely seasoned them beforehand. They may have put salt on them, but that was about it. Salt and pepper. But traditional barbecue, in big cuts of meat like this, your flavor's on the outside. Like, you're very rarely getting it on the inside until you pull it, till it's done, till you pull it or chop it. Mix your flavors in then. Let me get this on the pit, and we're gonna continue talking about it. So pit's running about 225, maybe it jumped up a little bit. So when I put mine on the pits, on an offset pit, I put it with the bone side towards the fire. I want to protect that tender money muscle. That bone can take more of the direct blow from the heat and all. And but that's how I put them on there. And another thing is, you notice I only did salt and pepper and garlic. Anything that's going to roll for a long period of time, I say after more than 4 hours unwrapped, uncovered, I never use a sugar rub. You'll see people post a lot of times, and they got these black butts, then they think, look at that bark, look at that bark. It's not bark. That's not even sugar caramelized. That's sugar burnt. And it's gonna have a bitter taste, and they mistake that bitter taste for smoke flavor, and it's just not. It's just not. It's that bitterness and all. It's like everybody's like, oh, hot and fast. Hot and fast is great if you're wrapping a couple hours in. Like, you don't want to char that thing. You don't want to, especially if you're cooking over direct coals. Like, salt and pepper is about all you want to put on there. Salt, pepper, garlic, something mild on there that doesn't have sugar, because sugar is going to caramelize out and burn, and because it's going to take a long time before you wrap and all. So if you're taking your butts to 180, you're beyond the caramelization point. And I cook my butts just about like I do a brisket. So I'm cooking. I don't mix tallow and put on top of it, but I'm cooking it I'm looking for it to go through the stall 175, 180, and we're gonna come back and wrap it. And when we wrap them in the restaurant, I use food grade film. I don't have it here, so we're gonna wrap in foil today, but we're gonna make some killer sandwiches, make some killer Georgia barbecue. And guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all just stay tuned. We're gonna check back in on this in a few hours. So see how it's coming along. And then we're gonna knock out some coleslaw and knock out my sauce that I love to put. I'm a vinegar sauce guy. I love vinegar sauce, but I'm gonna teach y'all a super basic vinegar sauce that you can add to and make it your own. So yeah, let's get it done. All right, so we're getting close to wrapping the butts, or wrapping the butt. I'm just so used to saying multiples. There's nothing better to go with pork on a day like today than with coleslaw. Coleslaw in the South is a lot like religion. In politics, everybody has an opinion about it. And this is ours. If you have a favorite type, please, by all means, use yours. Use your recipe. If not, here's a good one to start with. Here's a good one that we use every day. People seem to love it. Majority of people seem to love it. You know, there's a critic everywhere. So we're gonna knock this out right quick. We've got green cabbage and just a little bit of red cabbage. You don't need a lot of red. It'll turn it purple or pink. A lot of times I like to cut it ahead of time, let it dry out before I mix it up, but I don't have that time today, so it'll be fine. We're gonna mix it up, let it sit for just a little bit, and get those flavors incorporated. So let's get into it. All right, so let's make up the dressing for our slaw. We got a cup of sugar, cup of Duke's mayo, because I think that's the only kind out there. But again, if you're not a Duke's mayo fan, you do you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm also not saying you're right. I got a half a cup of apple cider vinegar, some sweet relish, then I'm going to do some black pepper.
I don't know what it tastes like.
And then a little bit of salt to taste.
Huh. Is that salt or pepper?
It was both.
I don't know what it tastes like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm just gonna pour that in there. Mix it up. I'm sitting here making a mess. All right, so that's how we make our slaw. We're gonna set it in the fridge, cover it and set it in the fridge till we're ready to eat. Let it kind of just absorb those flavors, kind of settle in. Sometimes you don't want to do it quite as wet, because as it sits, it's gonna draw some moisture out of the cabbage, but we're gonna eat this pretty quick, so it'll be fine. All right, so we got to get us a sauce together. Georgia to me is vinegar sauce, and here is a perfect vinegar sauce if you've never made one. So we're going to start off. We got 2 cups of ketchup, two cups apple cider vinegar, cup of brown sugar, quarter cup hot sauce, and again, all the recipes are going to be below. And then I'm going to go in with a couple of tablespoons. I'm going to go in with a couple of tablespoons of black pepper. I just use our salt and granulated garlic mixture. All right, we're gonna put it on the eye and heat it up till everything's dissolved and it just comes to a boil, and we'll get this going. This is a perfect sauce for pork. So y'all stay tuned. All right, so we've reached about 175, 180 in the butt. Never mind. It's time to wrap, and then we're gonna put it back on to finish it off. Normally in the restaurant we use food grade film. I just didn't have any here. Foil works just as good. Film's a little less expensive, plus it holds a lot of moisture in. It's cleaner. You can just split it open and pull out what you need when you're serving, and you don't have to dry the whole butt out. It holds a lot of moisture in. It's really a good way to hold it and serve it, especially in that kind of setting. So, but we're gonna use foil. We're gonna get it done. This thing looks amazing. Let me get it off and we'll get it wrapped up. Guys, I know I was talking about people using sugar and it it turns it black. But this is just salt, pepper, garlic. It's gonna be a darker, it's gonna almost have like a brisket type bark on it. But that's how we do it every day. A good telltale sign, everybody says, hey, when the fat splits, but we're not gonna eat that. It does render out really well. I'm gonna get this butt wrapped up. Always a good rule of thumb to use at least 2 pieces. Cross wrap it, that way everything stays juicy inside. You don't have any leaks. I know people do like the foil boat method and all that other stuff, which works great, just not my style. So we got it wrapped up. We're gonna get it back on. Again, I'll probably turn it since it's wrapped. Put that money muscle towards the fire to help finish it up and get it more even. So we've got all that done. It won't be long now. It'll be about another hour or so, and this thing will be perfect. It'll be ready to go. Hour and a half, give or take. Depends on what you're running your smoker at. Mine's at almost 300 right now. It's just cruising. And very, very small amount of wood. Very small fire in there. That insulated firebox does wonders. And all same method on just about anything else out there. Kamado styles, I'll put a water pan in those because it's almost like a direct heat, that radiant heat from that plate setter or convector or whatever you call it. It'll seem to dry out the bottom, so we'll run a pan underneath that. It evens out the heat on those, but I like to run those 250, 275 on there. I can get a butt done 6-7 hours or so wrapping in foil or plastic wrap. And you see I got my right hand. My other production assistant wasn't much help this morning, so he's back there running the camera for me and all. But guys, we're gonna get it finished up, get some amazing sandwiches. You can't beat a Saturday in Georgia with Georgia BBQ. So y'all stay tuned. All right, so about 11 hours. 11 hours in, we're done. We're done. Just pulled it off. God, there's so many jokes I can make about stuff, but I'm not. We just pulled it off, and we're gonna let it rest. So we're gonna let it rest for about 45 minutes to an hour. Get that internal temp down to about 165 or so. It may take a little longer than that to get down to 165. But I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna toast up some buns. I've got our sauce, I got our slaw, we're ready to go. Just let this thing rest. Resting big cuts of meat like this, resting any cut of meat like this is important, but big cuts like this is super important. Like, you want those juices to reacclimate themselves, get this thing back to where it wanted to be. Everything's, even though it's loosened up and it's reading like 203, 204, as it rests, it's just gonna relax a little bit and it'll be way more tender. And I'll be honest, you know, I know it's been a day, it's been a long day cooking. You know, I've been out driving the tractor, running the tractor, spreading rock, and working on the driveway and stuff like that. Some of the stuff, who knows, maybe we'll start doing some videos about that stuff too. But I've been out all day, and this is just something I love to do, like cook while I'm doing that. But there's something to be said about nighttime out here, just listening to those frogs down at the creek, and all. It's very peaceful. So, but yeah, no better way to celebrate National Georgia BBQ Day than cooking what Georgia BBQ is about, and that's pork. It's a pork state. So let's get this thing rested up. Let's get it plated up, and let's dig into it. All right, so we've been resting probably about 45 minutes or so. I know this thing's still super hot. We're gonna get into it though. Key is to not get foil in your pork butt. little bit. So with big cuts of meat like this, especially if you're chopping or pulling it or whatever, and same thing with brisket, like huge cuts of meat, not necessarily brisket, but if you're chopping brisket, yes. Your flavor is going to be on the outside, and you're going to need to add a little flavor to the inside to get the flavor through there. You can either do it with seasoning, like if you want a sweeter butt, again, here we go with the jokes. If you want it to be sweeter, you want a sweeter flavor profile, reinforce it with a rub. Like use salt, pepper on the outside, reinforce that sweet rub, maybe put it in a coffee grinder and grind it a little finer. You can also mix sauce in with it. However you want to do it it's your choice. It's your flavor profile that you're going for. It's what you like. I know we've gone through a lot of different avenues at the restaurant, but we talked about the fat cap, so I'm gonna just peel that back. Like I do love some good barky flavor, especially with the bark we put on here. But the fat cap, you don't want that over. I mean, sometimes it renders out, and it has rendered out. It's just melty fat, and there's going to be some in there. I can't keep it all, so I'm going to get some of this top meat, the stringy meat. I'm going to put it together. Look how white that is. It's just beautiful. But then we're going to dig in. We're going to dig on in. Get some of that. Even 45 minutes to an hour of get a little bit more here. You want a little bit of everything, so go over here and get you some of that money muscle. Look at that. Look at that. Just melts. Like you don't want big chunks in there. Some people like it, but if I'm eating a sandwich, I don't want to pull half the meat out with me when I take a bite. That's why I kind of like it chopped, but I'm going to pull it just for ease right now and not making a huge mess. You don't think it's juicy? Look at all that juice dripping out of it there. So, all right, so we've got us a big pile of pork, and it's wet. So I'm going to reinforce my flavors. Again, we made this vinegar sauce. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. We're going to make some heaping ass sandwiches. Hope y'all can hear that juiciness of that. Look, we got the flavor in there. Yeah, we'll put a little bit more over there. All right, so that's how I build my sandwiches at the restaurant. Look, toasted up the buns, always Duke's mayo. If you're toasting your buns and you're using butter, hey, more power to you. But if you haven't used Duke's mayo, you're missing out. I'm telling you. Look at those. Look at those beautiful sandwiches. Side by side. Should we do a little more sauce? Of course we should. Can't get that beautiful thumbnail and picture without some sauce dripping down it. And I love that red color on that sauce. Like, it's just gorgeous. So I know it's not Georgia style, but I do love some slaw on my sandwich. And hey, it's your style too, so. Oh look, we have guests. We have guests that thinks he's gonna get samples. All right, here you go, man. Or guys and gals. Yep, typical me, typical me. So here we go. So potato rolls, toasted, Duke's mayo. 11 hours, pulled pork, vinegar sauce. Showed you how to season it. No sugar, people, no sugar. Unless you're wrapping it early, but no sugar. Season it properly. Make a slaw. I know this isn't traditional Georgia barbecue, but you do get slaw in stew and stuff like that. I wasn't going to show the stew recipe just yet, and all, but I do love slaw on my pulled pork sandwiches. These are massive. These are massive. This is what I like to eat when I get a pulled pork sandwich. Guys, there's no better way. Hey, cheers to Georgia Barbecue Day. Yep. I don't know if you can hear the crisp of that sandwich, of that bread. Golly. Mmm. It just doesn't get old. I cook it every day. Still doesn't get old. So good. So good. In case y'all didn't know, my granddad used to cook whole hogs. They used to have hog killings, and the whole community around them, their whole family, would get together and cook hogs and have like a family reunion. But they were also making stew. They were putting up meat. They were making sausage. They were doing it all as a way of life. It wasn't just, hey, we're going to have barbecue and have a family get together. It was that, but it was so much more, because the whole family would get together. Somebody would raise the chickens, somebody would raise the hogs, somebody would raise the cows, and they would get together and kill them all and process them all, take all the scrap meat to make Brunswick stew, cook those hogs over open coals, open fire pits and stuff, and burn barrels and all that. And I don't think there's no better way than to pay homage to my granddaddy, and on both sides of my family, than with something like that. I think they would be super proud of it. I think they would love seeing Georgia Barbecue Day, because it wasn't barbecue back then. It was a way of life, and it's our way of life too. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. I know I haven't put a couple out in a couple of weeks, but I've been trying. I've got a lot of video ideas and stuff, but I'm working on it, and just the time to do it. As you can see, it's dark out. We started this morning, and time got away from me, but we got it done. Got an amazing sandwich done, and also like, subscribe, share with your friends, and y'all have an awesome day, and we'll see y'all next week.